Today, we're going to talk about self-trust. Now, this can feel like a blurry topic. Self-trust is hard to pinpoint. Okay, what does that really mean? Like, what does it really feel like to have full trust in oneself? And for me, if you spoke about this 5 years ago, I would have probably said, oh yeah, I trust myself. Like I feel confident in myself. I can make decisions, I can lead, whatever it is. Like, yeah, I'm good. However, the person I am today, I look and I can see where I neglected myself in so many ways, where I didn't have trust at all in myself. I was scared of either what people would think, or I was concerned of how they would feel based on my opinions, decisions. I was constantly wanting to, when I made a decision, then cross check it with the people in the room to make sure that they also nod their heads or approve of what it is. And if they didn't, then I would feel like, oh, okay, maybe there's something wrong in me for thinking this way. Whereas today, if I share something and I get no nods of approval, I will not feel knocked off balance because other people in the room do not see the same way as me. And so for you, this is where I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about what self-trust looks like in the container of a romantic relationship and how important it is. If we can't fully hold our own and have a strong sense of self-trust, then this is where we lose ourselves in our relationship, because we also place such strong trust in our partner. And I probably would say that you probably do that. And I also do that. And you want to have a partner in your life that you can trust and depend on. So naturally, you're going to choose someone that you can trust. But if we can't trust ourselves fully, then we'll place all our trust in others without reading the signs, or sometimes ignoring the signs of where maybe we don't feel a full sense of trust within people outside of ourselves. However, we will neglect it and give people the benefit of the doubt. If we can, in today's video, really highlight what self-trust doesn't look like and what it does look like, then we will have a compass or a direction or some goalposts of where we want to head in order to have a strong foundation in our life, a strong knowing of where we stand in every single moment, a strong confidence within ourselves. Let's start with the first sign of not trusting yourself. And this is where we ignore our feelings, where we push them aside, where we may just give someone the benefit of the doubt and just dismiss what we just felt, where we have all these feelings inside, but we don't actually fully voice them or bring them to the table. This is a sign of not fully trusting yourself. Because what would the alternative look like? The alternative would be honoring your feelings, right? And this would be where something happens, where someone says, like your partner says a sarcastic joke, and they say, no, it's just coming from humor. I adore you. I like, it's just fun. It's just games. And you feel hurt underneath, but you dismiss it because you're like, okay, they love me and they're just doing this from a place of care, and you just leave it. However, self-trust would be like, hey, no, that actually had an undertone of dismissiveness, or it had an undertone of cutting me down, and that didn't feel good. You can be sarcastic on things that don't actually cut me down, but when there's sarcasm that actually punishes me, that doesn't feel good. And so the more that you can have confidence in saying exactly what you're feeling when someone else may think otherwise, this is where you can really back yourself. This is where our self-esteem grows, because we have confidence in ourselves. We have trust within ourselves to know, no, hold on a second, this is what I felt and it didn't feel good. So notice where you dismiss your feelings, where you may give them the benefit of the doubt. And we can absolutely give people the benefit of the doubt. However, it's really important to say, hey, that didn't actually really feel good. And then they can say, okay, that was not my intention at all. I apologize. And like, I want to make sure that my words are coming from a place of kindness. And this is where you can also give people the benefit of the doubt whilst also honoring what you're feeling and expressing. This is important. So make sure that you're noticing what feelings you're feeling and acknowledge them in the moment. The next one is people pleasing. And this is another one where if you asked me 5 years back, I would have said, I'm not a people pleaser. The thing is, if you asked me 5 years back about a lot of things, I would have confidently been like, I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not an anxious person. I'm not a anxious attachment style. And the reality is I had a lot of anxiety in my body that I was not even noticing. And it just came out in excitement, passion, and all of these things without realizing, hold on a second, I'm not centered, grounded, at peace within my own body. I'm actually quite charged. And it's with the people pleasing, this also came out with as enthusiasm without realizing, no, you're also trying to make sure that people are happy. You're wanting to not rock the boat. You're wanting to keep the peace. An example of this could be where in relationship, if they're like asking, what do you feel like? And they love Japanese, you love Italian, but you've eaten Japanese every single day this week. And but that you want to make sure that they stay happy. And so you're just like, okay, let's go to Japanese. The trusting yourself could be like, hey, no, hold on a second. I really actually don't feel like Japanese. I know you really feel like Japanese, but I don't. And this is the internal dialogue that's going on first. This is the internal dialogue. And then what you could say is, hey, listen, I've had Japanese every day this week and I really don't feel like it, but I also want to make sure that you get Japanese. How about we get two different things and then go on a picnic together and have it together? This is where you can fully validate and honor exactly what's coming up within yourself. Or you could also say, listen, I know you're really craving Japanese. I've also had it every day this week. Do you have any other ideas? And this is where they could be like, oh, I was actually contemplating if we should get Mexican as well. And so maybe, does Mexican sound good? And this is where if we constantly people please and just give what the other person is wanting, sometimes we won't even know that there's a better option for the both of you if you're just constantly letting go or denying your own internal compass. This can also be where they want to ask you out on a date and they haven't asked you in a while, and so you're like, oh my god, okay, I want to go on this date because they haven't asked me for a while and I've been waiting for this, but then it clashes with something that's important to you. Don't give up on the thing that was important to you. Say, listen, I've been waiting and I really want to go on a date with you, and it sucks that it's clashing tonight with something that is really important to me, because it also going on this date with you is equally important and I really want to do it. Is there another day that works? This is where you are not just giving in to your own priorities for the sake of this person that you're dating, but you're actually honoring your priorities and then also making sure that seeing if he can fit in with this schedule of yours. Again, I said that we had taken a while to do the date. And so this is where you honor schedule that you had already originally set so that he can then meet you there. The next one is overanalyzing. And this, ladies, for those of you who have been in sticky relationship dynamics, and I know a lot of you listening have been, this obsessive thinking that goes on in our head is often because we have an internal voice that is picking up on many red flags or warning signs or hold on, that doesn't feel good type things. And then we're constantly overriding that because we want to stay in connection with the person, If we speak up about it, maybe then there will be tension. If we speak up about it, will we then fully lose their love? Will we be too difficult? If you are in your head heaps, there is stuff there that needs to get out of your head into the room, into words, and then be faced. Now, I tell you that if you're in this place, the truth is you probably will face difficulty when you start to express it. Because if you felt safe in expressing it, you naturally would have already, because you knew the person would be able to receive you. So then the next question is, okay, do I feel safe to express everything to my partner? And why do I constantly try to come up with answers to their ways in my head? Why don't I have full clarity of their commitment? Why don't I have full clarity of their whereabouts? Why don't I have full clarity on how invested they are in me? Why don't I have full clarity on how much they really like me or want me or value me? Why don't I have that? Because if you're in a relationship with this person and then you're still wondering like how much they really care, I'm sorry, but you deserve so much better. You deserve a relationship where you're not questioning someone's love, where it's just a knowing that they are devoted to you. Why are we questioning it? And this is where, for me, I would then put it back on myself as someone that's insecure or uncomfortable and I just need to be stronger. No. If you're feeling uncomfortable, there's probably a truth there by their inactions or lack of actions or their inconsistent ways that is actually making you really insecure. I would say if I was being treated the same way, I would feel equally insecure. So there is truth there that if we begin to honor, will bring the reality of the relationship into the spotlight as opposed to what you're experiencing, which is kind of staying in the darkness. This perfectly funnels on to seeking reassurance, needing their validation, seeking understanding, seeking clarity, asking, like wanting to know more. If someone is fully committed to you, you will not have to constantly question or ask them or need their validation. You'll just feel, okay, this person adores me. This person is invested in me. This person is going above and beyond. This person is making room and space for me in their life. And so if you're needing validation, stop blaming yourself for someone that is super insecure and needs lots of validation. Instead, ask, why are the men that I constantly attract creating such a level of insecurity in me or a level of uncertainty on their commitment in me? Because it's often a line of men that you've attracted, it's easy to then put it on yourself of, okay, I'm an insecure person and I just need to be stronger, because you've had these patterns of feeling insecure in many relationships. But often it's the pattern of men or the pattern of relationships that we attract where there is an inconsistency or an emotional unavailability that feels familiar. So you're attracted to it, but it doesn't feel safe. It makes you feel unsettled. It makes you feel anxious. And that right there is the ingredients or the recipe that we need to change. You deserve to feel peaceful, grounded, and confident in someone's love towards you. And lastly, a sign that you aren't fully trusting yourself is avoiding conflict. Conflict is scary. And we as women, or we as women who have been pushed down, hurt, manipulated, gaslit, the idea of bringing up our feelings can be quite frightening, because if there is conflict in the room, then the potential of these patterns or these unhealthy patterns of manipulation, gaslighting, control, and all of that can be heightened significantly. And so if we then rock the boat by expressing our truth, then how do we know that we can fully see? How do we know that we can fully dig ourselves out of it or stay strong in the face of conflict? And so it can become frightening. And this is something that we get to learn. And if this is something that you really want to be able to embody where you can fully trust yourself and fully own exactly what it is, no matter how uncomfortable people around you feel. It's not about putting people down. It's just about staying strong and dignified. And no, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm seeing. And I am going to state that. I can see that it's bringing up a significant amount of discomfort in you, but that often points to some truths in them that they're really uncomfortable seeing. So if you want to go on this journey, I offer one-to-one coaching in a 3-month container where we really get you embodied in your strength so you can confidently walk in the direction of what is aligned for you and speak that in every moment. I can for sure say that I feel very grounded, strong, and secure in myself these days, and can say something without needing a team of people behind me to then validate that, what you saw was correct. I can be out by myself and say, hey, that's not right. Don't treat someone in that way. Because I just know that it's not right, and I can trust that feeling within me. So if you want to go on that journey, I definitely recommend it and offer support for that. So those are some of the signs of not trusting yourself. Now, I gave you some alternatives in each one of those points, but I also just want to quickly go over what trusting yourself can look like. One is boundary setting, and confident boundary setting at that. So sometimes when we haven't learned a healthy representation of boundaries, it can feel confusing on, okay, well, where am I not setting boundaries? Once you begin to learn what boundaries really look like in the container of the nuances in your day-to-day life, you'll begin to see where, literally, I have such a leakiness on boundary setting where I will not express something, or I will, what's an example? I've seen this so many times. It's like, I told my friend that I didn't want to go on holidays with her because I was busy and had a lot of work to do. But in reality, it was the friend that I didn't want to go on holidays with. And then another friend asked you, hey, do you want to go on this holiday? And you really want to go on it. And so then now you're like stuck between, oh God, do I just have to say, no, I'm really busy, and forfeit your own happiness because you didn't set a clear boundary in the past of saying to the other friend, hey, no, that holiday doesn't align with me, or the last time we caught up, I felt it was a bit uneasy between us, and so I'd prefer not to go this time. Whatever it is, where did we not fully communicate the truth of our experience or set a boundary, and then instead go in this really roundabout big way in order to try to keep waters calm, as opposed to just addressing things head on. The more that you can address things head on and just trust yourself. No, this friend, I don't feel like going because last time we connected, it didn't feel at ease or flowy, and there was a bit of tension, and it felt a bit one-sided, and that we're constantly talking about yourself, and to me, it didn't actually feel as fun as I'd like it to be. Then you can express that, and that's your truth. And then the next time another friend asks and you want to go, you can just naturally go. Now, you don't need to express all of these things, but I would invite you to really honor what it is that you're feeling and express that, instead of trying to protect other people's emotions, and then in the path of that, then hold yourself back from your own freedom. Trust what you're feeling, honor what you're feeling, and don't feel too much or too wrong for feeling that way. Next one is decision making, and we talked about this in regards to the food that we're eating, and just confidently being able to say, hey, I feel like this. I actually don't feel like that. When you trust yourself, you can quickly connect to exactly what you want and then be able to express it. And then once it's out on the table, then together you can then see, okay, where do we align with these two different ways of thinking? If you have been constantly denied your experience, or gaslit, or said you were too much, or been made wrong for how you were feeling, we divorce ourselves from our truth completely and for a long time. And so what you may be feeling in this moment is, how do I even know what I want? How do I even, like, I don't even have like, I'm easy. I can do whatever. And this easiness, or this can do whateverness, is a huge sign that you have been made in the past wrong, and in that process being made not to trust yourself. You can be easy breezy, you can be a chilled person. I generally am chilled and go with the flow, but what I noticed in myself is I had I didn't have a sense of self. I would listen to any music that people wanted to play. I would go to any restaurant that people wanted to go to. I would do any activity that people wanted to do. And I would be like, yeah, I'm good with that. But what would make life more colorful is if I said, hey, I don't really feel like doing ball activities. I feel like sporting activities. Sorry, got a random thought in my head, but I don't really feel like doing ball sport activities. I feel like doing water sport activities. How does that sit with you? And then if that actually excites people, then you're going to have a much better day doing activities that you actually feel inspired or enjoy. And so notice where you're just the same kind of girl, or the easy breezy kind of girl. And I just had a delivery. But notice where you are the same girl, the easy breezy girl, the go with the flow girl. It's time to invite some personality, some color, some uniqueness, some different, some flavor into who you are as a person. And the more that you can just, sometimes we can't connect to this for a long time because we've been so disconnected for it for so long. So what I would invite you to do is, if you were talking with your friends or your partner about what meal to eat for dinner, instead of saying, well, what do you feel like? I'm easy, actually make a decision on what would feel good to you. The more that you become stronger in your decision-making muscle on what you feel like, the more that you're going to then discern, okay, what do I actually like? For example, if you're like, okay, I feel like Indian tonight, and then you have Indian and you're like, I think Mexican would have been better. The next time you can be like, I feel like Mexican, and then it could be delicious, and you're like, yeah, I want Mexican again. And then you can become a Mexican food lover. So and then this creates personality. I really like Mexican. This creates flavor in your own identity. And so I'd encourage you to practice being decisive, even if you don't care, or you don't really know what decision to go with one. And in going with one, you're going to strengthen a path forward of what is really your best decision. This leads into trusting your intuition, and that is the next sign of being someone that is really embodied in a sense of self-trust. The more that you exercise this decision-making muscle, the more you're also going to exercise your intuitive muscle. Because in the decision exercise, in exercising your decision muscle, you are carving a path forward of, this is what I feel like. You're validating that, even if you feel like you made a wrong decision and then you actually felt like something else. The more that you exercise this, the more that you're going to also exercise your gut instinct and be like, no, I feel like going in this direction. No, I feel like having this. No, that doesn't sit right. This sits right. No, I don't quite feel the truth of your words right now, and it did hurt me. And so the more that you can exercise the decision-making muscle, the more you're also going to validate your intuitive muscle. But someone with embodying a strong sense of self-trust is going to have a gut feeling and then going to honor that gut feeling. Hey, when you said XYZ, it didn't actually sit right with me. I got the energy that it was coming from, and it felt like it was a bit passive aggressive. And I know the words came out in the night, like the words that you said were nice, but then it felt passive aggressive, and that didn't sit well with me. The more that you can trust your intuition, or trust that, oh, this person is bringing me flowers or bringing me gifts or setting up these amazing dates for me, but some part of me is feeling like they're doing it to secure me. They're doing it to control the love here, as opposed to trusting, no, if this person likes me, that they too will be equally invested. Then you can start to set boundaries around, no, hold on, I want to go a little bit slower. And intuitively, if you start to feel this and then start to honor what you're feeling, you're going to actually be validated in the time to come. For example, if you set a boundary around, hey, I want to go a little bit slower on these dates, it's feeling a little bit too fast, or I'm not ready to go on a holiday with you because we've only just met and it just feels like we're getting too close too soon. I want to slow things down. Someone that is really healthy is going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, absolutely, fully get what you're talking about. And I think that's a really wise idea. I was just getting swept up in the idea of you. I really like you. I really want to continue pursuing you. And I'm having a lot of fun with this, but let's slow down. And then someone that's unhealthy will get defensive, will be like, well, then that must mean you don't actually like me that much. And then they will be like, well, let's just not go on holidays whatsoever at all. Like, maybe we should just not even go on a date this week if you're wanting some time by yourself. And it can be dismissive, it can be rejecting, it can be punishing. And this is where, if you honored yourself and said, hey, this is getting a bit fast too soon, and then you have an experience like this is validating that's why it was feeling too fast too soon. Because now I'm having an experience that is uncomfortable, where they're not actually respecting my boundaries. And then that is where you start to pick up on the red flags that you were feeling underneath. And the next one is respecting your needs. If you have a relationship with trusting yourself, you will become incredible at honoring what it is that you exactly need in any given moment. So let's say, for example, you're out with friends, you're out on a holiday with your partner and friends, and they're like, okay, everyone, we're getting up early to see sunrise. And there's this part of you that is just feeling like, oh my gosh, my body is getting so run down. And if I don't sleep in this morning, then the next week when I get back to work, I'm going to be so behind and I'm going to crash. And so your need here would be like, hey, listen, all of you guys go. I'm just feeling like it would not do me good if I did get up this morning. And then same with what I was just talking about before, is if you felt like the relationship was going too fast, or you feel like, okay, we can only go out on dinner dates with this person, and I really want to be able to have some mornings or some weekends with this person, and he asked you out on another dinner date, if you honored your needs, you would be able to say, hey, listen, we're always going on dinner dates, and I really want a man that I can spend the weekends with. I can have go out for breakfast with. How about the next time we go for a breakfast or a weekend, or a lunch sometime on the weekend? And this is where you begin to start to set the container of how you wish to experience relationship. Again, this then invites, well, then can this person meet you there, or can they not? And if they can't, then that's where you then get to set the bar of how you want to experience a relationship, as opposed to lowering yourself so that you can just spend this quality time with this person on their timeline. Because that's not going to feel fulfilling in the long run. You deserve to know exactly what you need and to be able to communicate that. And the more that you are very clear on what you need and can trust that and can communicate that, you're going to be so fulfilled in life. And you're also going to attract in people that have the same kind of needs. So if, say, for example, if a partner is always just wanting to meet at nighttime with you, and you start to be like, no, okay, hold on, I need so much more. And they get uncomfortable with that. And then it ends up tearing the relationship apart. You will then invite someone in that has an equal desire for commitment and time, that is spent in the mornings and the weekends, and is actually devoted and wanting to spend more quality time with you. So I hope that helps. building a relationship of self-trust is so important to your healing journey. The more that you can fully tune into what it is that I need in any given moment and then be able to communicate that, you're going to become so powerful. If you do want support on this so that you can actually find a connection to what it is you need, because when you're starting out on this journey of it, often we don't even know what it is exactly that we need. And so I can definitely help draw that out of you so that you begin to become more and more aligned with your full sense of self, and also create a special identity that is very unique and aligned with you. So I hope that helps. Bye for now.